53106 is the number for your messages. Lunchtime at newstalk.ie. Lots still to come on the programme. But we want to talk now about the future of teaching in our schools. And there's many different aspects of this story that have been in the news of late. But I want to speak first to Michael Nugent of Atheist Ireland. He's with me in studio. Michael, you're very welcome to Newstalk Lunchtime.
Good afternoon.
Can I just ask you first of all about the issue of Hibernia College and something that you had issue with on their coursework? What was it?
Well, they have a religion module on the course. They're a teacher training college, so they're teaching teachers who will in turn be teaching primary children. And as part of the religion module, they had notes that suggested that atheism is responsible for the worst atrocities in world history, linking atheists to Nazis, suggesting that most modern day atheists don't care about this, and suggesting that atheists believe that without God anything is morally justified. Now, all of these things are untrue.
Was it in the form of coursework, or was it in the form of... It
was in the form of written notes that were distributed by the college as part of the course, and then a question in a mock exam that wasn't a discussion question, was a true or false question. Atheism is responsible for the worst atrocities in world history, true or false.
So so you had to answer one way or the other.
You were, and the course notes would have, suggested to you what you were expected to answer if you wanted to get marks.
Which was true.
Which is that it is true, which obviously is incorrect.
When this was brought to your attention, this college, Hibernia College, they train primary school teachers who go on to work in Catholic schools. In
theory, in any school, any primary school, but in practice, over 90% of the primary schools are Catholic schools.
When you got on to Hibernia College, what did they say?
Well, they were, I think they're very reasonable about it. I don't think they had realised that the notes were conveying that information. They have agreed to remove those offending passages from their notes. I'm writing an objective module for them, or not a module, an introductory lesson in the first instance on atheism and non-religious ethics. And then we're going to discuss with them and with other groups how to make their religious module more pluralist.
Father Vincent Twomey is also on the line. He's a retired professor of moral theology. Father Vincent, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Were you involved in drafting that particular passage?
I wrote that particular programme, yeah.
Why?
The moral theology programme. And I must say, what was just said about the programme, of course, is I just wondered, did Michael actually read the actual text?
I have it in front of me here. Do you want me to read it to you?
Yeah, okay. Well, I just remind the leader, I think you're reading more into it than it's actually in the text itself.
Well, can I just ask first of all, before we go down that line, Vincent?
No, the context is very, very important. The context is the whole question of religion and politics. Yeah, that was the context, yeah. And everyone knows religion and politics is a bad thing. Religion has had very negative effects on political life. That's the background, yeah. However, I then made a point that the fact that you don't have religion doesn't mean to say that you don't have faith. Faith in something, God, progress, one's race or gods, and you can atheism, which places faith in some absolute humanism, march of history, materialism, economy, or even hedonism. In other words, you have to have an absolute in life, and very often when you don't have religion, it's filled up with something else. And the fact is that something like 100 million people were killed on the basis of the atheist ideology of Marxism. The presupposition of it being that God is religion is the opener of the people, God must be ignored. Likewise, Nazism, when the Nazis started, the first thing they did was actually to remove religion from the school.
Michael, I just want to bring you in on that as a representative of the atheist community.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, that's utterly shocking. I mean, I'd be happy to discuss your theology, which on some other occasion, but on this, we're talking about factual issues. The Nazis went into battle with "God with us" written on their belt buckles. Hitler said he was doing, in Mein Kampf, said that he was doing the work of the Lord in taking on the Jews. Stalin was a seminarian. The first thing that Hitler did, actually one of the first things he did was to sign a concordat with the Roman Catholic Church and to close down the German free-thinking movement. So what you're saying is just factually incorrect, and to suggest that atheists do not care about that is utterly defamatory.
Okay, gentlemen, I'd ask you not to speak over each other. Vincent, if I could let you want to make a point?
Yeah, I said I didn't make any implications of that nature. What I said there is based on the researches of ex-Marxist French thinkers who compiled the book Le Livre Noir, the Black Book, which, on their estimation, accounts for 100 million deaths due to atheist ideology, namely Marxism.
But what
That's
was
the fact.
What
the
was
other
the point?
fact about
Hang on, can I just ask you a question? What was the point of putting that down on a document that was being read by young teachers? I just don't understand why you were forcing them into a yes and no document when something that you're having a debate here.
That is a fact. It is a fact that atheist ideology has produced the worst atrocities in history. The whole Nazi regime in Germany and the communist regime in Soviet Union and in China. That's just a fact. And the reason I put it is because there is a kind of an assumption in Ireland today, and I say this in my notes, where atheism is in. It's fashionable to be atheist. Everyone knows that religion is a dangerous thing, especially when mixed up with politics. My only point was that atheism too is a dangerous thing.
Well, I always say that is thankfully Hibernia College don't agree with you. They've removed the offending passages from the course notes, and the idea that atheism is responsible for anything in terms of doing of ideologies that are based on fascism or Nazism is just incorrect. It's something that the Catholic Church from the Vatican down has been saying for the last few years. When the Pope came to England last year, he compared atheists to Nazis. Cardinal Cormac Murphy O'Connor 2 years ago said that atheists are not fully human. There's this constant attempt by the Roman Catholic Church to dehumanise He did say that. He said that on BBC Radio, and I can get you the reference.
I would like to see the reference.
Okay, well, if he did say that, do you think that it was a correct thing to say?
You couldn't say that.
Good, well, I'm glad to hear that.
Listen, let me tell you. First of all, with regard to the course that I devised for Hibernia College, another course I devised was actually on world religions. And I began with showing the Catholic Church's own attitude to religions, the positive attitude to religions that is found in the Second Vatican Council, in the most official documents of the Church, where also it says that even those who have no faith, they are not far from God if they're following their conscience. May I also say, with regard to the present Pope, for example, he invited the heads of all the world religions to Assisi last autumn, I think in September, to pray for peace. He also invited, and this is the second time only in history that this has happened, he also invited representatives of agnostics, because he said these agnostics, and I think people confuse agnosticism and atheism, people who are searching for God, he said these are very often the leaven in society. And he said on that occasion, religion has been responsible for terrible violence in the course of history.
Okay,
that's an acknowledgement.
But why then was that question even put in there, or that idea being put forward to young teachers? Why didn't you focus more on the pluralist side of it, that you teach them about all religions so they can explain to the children in their classroom?
Well, first of all, I mean, you're taking one line out of 95 packed pages, and you're taking it out of context as well. And I think if you read the whole thing in context, it is not as you actually, put it up to be. By the way, as I devised that course, my main concern was that future teachers of religion would have to think about their faith, not not turn religion into an ideology, which has also happened. When you're giving out, as it were, sound bites to children you don't yourself believe in, I think it's extreme. We're in a situation today that you have to be able to think through whatever conviction you have, and you have to be able to discuss it rationally and in a way which really is convincing. So I stand over my course. I stand over what I said. I'm not speaking on behalf of Hibernia College. I just was commissioned by them to produce the program.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that.
And also, Michael, I mean to say, I also appreciate your concern as well. I mean, I say I admire you for it. I wish we Catholics had the same kind of concern for the reputation of Catholicism as you have for the reputation of atheism. I must say, I'm saying that now in all honesty, and I'm not being ironic.
Well, I appreciate that, and look, I am quite happy to respect your right to believe whatever you want to believe about the supernatural, and to preach that to members of your own religion. But I think when you're acting with regard to either directly or indirectly the institutions of state, including teaching of primary teachers, that you should be objective and critical and pluralistic, and that's the dividing line for me.
Well, I agree with you there, and I would claim that I'm trying to be objective and pluralist and open. And by the way, may I say, one of the weaknesses, really, I suppose, of any kind of a course, even on the university or otherwise, is that very often students themselves don't actually question what you're saying, and I welcome the fact that this is being questioned now, because it is actually causing a debate, and this, I think, is what we need more of.
That's a good thing in its own right. Have you any idea what the young teachers in the other schools, particularly those that would be linked to the Catholic religion, what they're taught, Vincent? Do you know, is it something similar?
No, I would say that I have no idea, quite honestly. I have never seen their courses or anything, yeah. But I mean, say you've taken a line out of a complete course. This is only...
But they've taken the line out as well, though. They've removed 400.
Well, I think they have to, if and this has been proved, if the text is ambiguous and is open to misunderstanding, it has to be removed, it has to be reformulated. Yeah.
Michael, end of the matter?
Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm quite happy that it's removed. I'm quite happy that we have an opportunity to prepare an objective lesson for Hibernia College on atheism and non-religious ethics, and then finally, if they can move towards a more pluralist, objective, critical, and pluralist approach to their curriculum, then I'm happy with that.
Have you any idea what's going on in the other training colleges? What they are being asked questions about as part of the coursework?
I haven't, but the difficulty is that there's a state curriculum in religion that you need in order to teach in any primary school. Then there's an additional religious qualification that the Roman Catholic Church insists that you have in order to teach in Roman Catholic schools, which is over 90%. So we're certainly keen to find out what is in that and to see if that involves any breaches of the right to freedom of conscience of students. We haven't yet, but we will be on foot of this particular issue here.
John, would you mind if I just come in on that, Hello?
Yes, Vincent, go on.
I think it's quite important. Michael used the word objective there a few times, and, this is very welcome. I would claim that what we are producing is equally objective. We are producing an objective. Now, every objectivity is open to debate. In other words, as I said, I welcome this debate, but I also would affirm that actually what the Catholic Church teaches is inclusive, not exclusive.
And can I just finish up by asking...
May I also say that most Catholic schools treat all Catholic schools that I know of, all, without exception, treat with great sensitivity and respect the beliefs of the parents